Am I start?
Welcome to the case of Rousseau versus the prosecution. You all may be seated. The prosecution will first begin this case.
Good morning, people of the court. My name is Olivia Hutchings, and I will be serving the French state of Algeria as a prosecutor on this malevolent case. During last summer, the defendant in this matter, Francis Rousseau, was invited by one of his close friends, Raymond, to go to one of Raymond's friends' beach houses, Masson. And Raymond had also invited Masson's girlfriend at the time, Marie. Later that day, Rousseau and Raymond were walking down the beach, and Raymond had noticed the Arabs were following him. Raymond had an issue, or the Arabs had a vendetta, more so to speak, with the Arabs. The Arabs had a vendetta with Raymond because Raymond had abused one of the women that they were related to. So then, Raymond then turned around with Rousseau to approach the Arabs. Raymond then took the first initiative to start the brutal attack by punching one of them, and Rousseau joined in. Raymond was then cut open by one of their knives during the attack, and he was rushed to the hospital. When he returned from the hospital, they had another confrontation with them, and Rousseau convinced Raymond to give him his gun, and they left. Oddly, for some reason, Rousseau decided to go back to again confront any of the Arabs. But then he not once, not twice, but shot the Arab 5 times and left him there. The defendant's witnesses today will be Marie Cardona, Salamano Sadi, Celeste Desmond, and Raymond Sentis. The prosecutor's witnesses in order today will be Louis Bernard, Thomas Perez, Lucius Masson, and Magistrate Julius Cardon. After you hear all of the witnesses speak today and all of the evidence, we are confident as the prosecutors that you will return a verdict of guilty to this heinous villain named Julius Masson.
Thank you. The defense will now present their arguments.
Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, today I am here to prove the innocence of Francis Rousseau. The accusation of this man murdering another in cold blood is blatantly false. After my client is innocent. He was merely acting in self-defense for fear of his life and the lives of those in his company. After he took Raymond to the doctor and made sure he was well cared for, he did return to the spring with a gun in hand. But this was because he feared that these menacing individuals would come back for him and hunt him down. Later, Raymond, Rousseau, and Marie all went on a bus to go to the boathouse with Masson. But before they could board the bus, they were followed by a group of Arabs. They threatened my client and even went so far as to discreetly follow their bus to the beach house. When Rousseau and his company arrived at the beach house, they walked to the beach, where they collected rocks, swam, and then later met Masson at his house. After this, the men, Masson, and Raymond, they all went for a walk on the beach. During this walk, they were simply trying to have an enjoyable time on the beach so that Rousseau could forget his troubles of his mother's death. This greatly impacted him, and he was simply trying to have an enjoyable day on the beach. Instead, my client was greeted by a violent attack by a group of Arabs, and he not only had to endure the death of his mother, but also witness his friend and companion get injured by this violent attack. Rousseau is a quiet man, and to put judgment on him, for the way that he copes with his mother's death is blatantly just unjust and faulty. Marceau was simply trying to go to the movies and the beach to forget the horrible troubles of his mother dying. He did this because his ways of coping are quiet and often gone unseen by others. So it's not always obvious that he's in pain, but he most certainly was. My client is a reserved man, and to judge him for this is unjust. Thank you.
Thank you. To begin with our witnesses, the prosecution will first call Louis Bernard.
Please place your right hand on the Bible. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
You may be seated. Sir, can you please list your legal name, age, and address?
I'm Louis Bernard. I'm 64 years old, and I live at 123 Magistrate Street.
Okay, and what is your occupation?
I'm the director of the Marengo Old Home.
Okay. And how long has Agnes been one of your clients in your home?
About 3 years.
Do you believe that Marceau could have possibly put him in his home put his own mother in the home just because he simply didn't care enough to take care of his own mother?
I do believe that 100%. She's been a lot happier and a lot safer in our homes.
Okay. And did Marceau even seem interested in his mother's funeral?
That one day he was acting very strange. He didn't show one shed of emotion or anything.
Interesting. Your one employee, Adrian Francis, what was his interaction with Marceau like?
They actually had a great time together. They drank coffee and smoked a cigarette right next to his mother's casket, which I thought was very, very strange.
So you're saying that he not only, did he even see his mother in her casket? Did he?
He denied. I asked him plenty of times.
So not only did he refuse to see his own mother, he blatantly regarded her and showed no sympathy for her death by drinking coffee and smoking cigarettes, is what you're claiming.
Yes.
No further questions, Your Honor.
And now the defense may cross-examine the witness.
So when Marceau came to the funeral home to see his mother, did he show any emotion?
0.
Do you think that could be because maybe he was coping and didn't know what emotion to show?
I mean, he was very strange, acting completely normal. It just seemed like an extra errand for him.
How many times have you met Marceau before he came for his mother's funeral?
Just once when he came to drop her off.
So how can you say that his lack of emotion was very normal?
Because, I mean, it was for 2 days. We saw him the day before the funeral and the day after, and the day of the funeral. And both days just seemed like nothing for him.
Perhaps he was in shock. Also, it was mentioned that Marceau's mother went to the funeral home because Marceau did not care for his mother. Perhaps it was out of love for his mother that he knew he could not provide for her, and that's why he sent her to the home. Is that possible?
I mean, financially, yes, it could be possible.
No further questions.
You may go sit down. Thank you. And now the defense will call Marie Cardona.
Bible.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
You may be seated. Will you tell us what your interaction with Mersol was on the day of the murder?
Well, we were invited to Masson's beach house, and we went with Raymond, and it wasn't anything out of the ordinary. We went and swam in the water, and I went back after we all went for a swim, and I went with Masson's wife, and we just went into the house to clean up after lunch, and then all the guys went for a walk.
So you've known Mersol for quite some time. You've been romantically involved with him. Would you say his behavior on the day of the murder before the murder took place, was any different than any other day?
Yes, I mean, he was kind of acting a little strange. It was hard for him to get out of bed. I had to help him, but that's about it.
Could that be grief from his mother's funeral?
I'm not sure because he doesn't really show that much deep emotion. I've asked him if he loved me, and he said no, he didn't think so, and that kind of shocked me and disappointed me, and I don't know, he doesn't show that much.
No further questions.
I'm not for the defense.
Are you still romantically involved with Mersol?
Not of right now,
Why not?
because of what happened, or he's in jail. I mean, I asked him to, I wanted to, once he got out, I was thinking that this would be okay and that we would be together after this, but I think he's just telling me what I want to hear right now.
In your affidavit, it says you guys saw a movie on the day you met.
Yes,
What type of movie was that?
it was a comedy.
And was this any specific day? Like, had anything happened to him?
It was, weirdly enough, he seemed fine, but it was the day after his mother died. Her funeral was right the day before, and he seemed fine, and we were flirting, and we went back to his house, and he seemed fine until I found out. That was just strange.
And you said it was a comedy, correct?
Yeah,
Do you think that's a little out of the ordinary for someone mourning?
yes, a little bit.
Did it even seem like he was mourning as when he said?
No, that's why I was in shock, because I had no idea.
No further questions.
As the third witness, the prosecution will now call Thomas Perez.
Please place your right hand on the Bible. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
You may be seated. Sir, can you please name your full legal name, your age, and your address?
My name is Thomas Perez. I'm 81 years old, and I live in a elderly care facility in Algeria.
As far as I'm aware, you attended Agnes's funeral, correct?
Yes, I
And
do.
what was that like?
I mean, we were very close, so it was hard, you know. I was mourning that day.
How did Mersol seem to you, or did he seem affected by his mother's death? Did he seem emotionally distraught at all?
I mean, I was very upset that day. I didn't really get a chance to communicate with him or really notice him, but I couldn't really tell you for sure.
So do you think if he actually was mourning for his mother, you probably would have noticed?
Possibly. I'm not really sure.
When you were, during the funeral, did anything happen to you? Were you ever overcome with emotion?
I mean, I did faint towards the end of the funeral because I was super upset about it, but
You were, so, how many years have you known Agnes?
7.
So you were so emotionally distraught by a woman you had only known for single-digited years. Yet her own son, you couldn't even, you were so emotionally distraught that you even passed out because you were succumbed by your emotion. And her own son couldn't even shed a tear, and people couldn't even bother to notice. You would agree with that, correct?
Yes.
No further questions?
Thank you. Prosecution, defense, the defense may know. Prosecution, Mr. Perez.
Did Mirso ever say anything to you that led you to believe that he was a cold-hearted person?
I never spoke to him.
You never spoke to him. So how would you know if he's not mourning, if you never even spoke to the man?
I really wouldn't.
What I would argue is perhaps he just doesn't express his emotions the same way as you do. For instance, he passed out and he was instead somber and quiet. That could be argued as a way of mourning. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. So, didn't really know him, never met the man before?
No.
Okay. Interesting. So, you never met him before, and did his mother ever mention anything about him?
Anything she ever said was negative.
Okay, like what?
He never came to visit her, didn't really care much about her.
Could it be argued perhaps it pained him to see her in the home, but he was financially forced to do so? Because did he ever say, did she ever say anything like that?
She said that she was kind of forced into the home by him, and they never really got along.
He is known to only have one job, and in his financial situation, perhaps he didn't have the means to take care of his mother anymore. Would you agree with that?
Thank you. Mr. President, seated. The defense will now call Solomano with a seat.
Please give your hand on the matter. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your full legal name and age.
My name is Solomano Sadie. I'm 75 years old, and I live in a Grove apartment building in Algeria.
So you lived with Mr. Mirso for how many years?
5.
So you lived in close quarters with him, and you probably got to know him, correct?
We didn't speak much. I just saw him around in the halls every so often, but we never really communicated to each other.
Okay, so did you guys ever share a conversation at least once and just kind of?
When I lost my dog, Marceau and Raymond actually gave me some advice on how to get him back, so I found that pretty helpful. But
So
other
did,
than that,
okay. Did he ever seem off to you or mention anything about harming another person or anything?
no, he never mentioned anything about harming anyone, but I knew that he had lost his mother, and I didn't really see much grief there, but I also know that people grieve differently, so I didn't really think much of it.
Yeah. And so he did help you find your dog. Did he offer to go look for it or anything?
No, he just gave me advice on like where to find him and who to call and stuff.
So you've known him for about the same time as you've lived with him?
Yeah.
Okay. And did he ever mention anything about his mother to you?
Yeah, we never really talked about things like that. It was usually just like saying hello and passing.
And how was he as a neighbor? Was he noisy or?
He wasn't noisy at all. I never had any complaints.
You know, big gatherings of like a suspicious sort or anything? No further questions.
And now the prosecution will turn to Mr. Mr. Salomon stated.
How often did you speak to Mr. Mercer?
I only spoke with him a handful of times. Other than that, it was really just saying hello and passing and things like that.
Would you say you two are close?
I wouldn't say so, no.
So do you believe that you would be able to make a good judgment on who he is as a person,
Most likely not, no.
or in what he is capable of doing?
No.
Did you speak to him about his mother's death?
No, I didn't mention his mother's death because I didn't know if it was like a touchy subject, but he didn't do anything that made it seem that it was a touchy subject.
When you were finding your dog and he was helping you, did he seem very concerned about it, or was he just giving you pointers?
He was mostly just giving me pointers, about as concerned as anyone else would be, I guess.
Is this dog very important to you?
Yeah, this dog, is the only person that I live with. So this dog's very important to me, and Rousseau knows that.
So if he knows this dog would be important to you, don't you think he would show a little more concern about it?
Maybe, but I guess it isn't really his issue.
No further questions.
Mr. Salomon, you can be seated. And now the prosecution will call Lucy Stone to the stand. Almost, I'm just going to the 10:04 almost. And now I'm just ready to leave. Should I stop for this 10:04?
Up to you. You're the judge, you decide.
Okay, the court will be adjourned until tomorrow.
Anybody that went today, they can interview